In this video, let's take a look at mind games. Games can enhance the learning process by creating a dynamic and interactive experience for the learner by employing powerful motivational elements such as competition, humor, and the satisfaction of winning by applying a skill. Composica mind games allow content authors to use these elements to design experiences that learners can enjoy while reinforcing newly acquired knowledge. Game elements can be added to any test folder document page and support all test settings. And interactions and performance data can be reported, just like any test results, to an LMS via SCORM. Now let's see how this works. We'll go ahead and double-click our test folder to swap over to Design View. Composica offers a variety of games, each with its own unique design, focus, and level of playability. To access Mind Games, select the Insert ribbon, then click on Mind Games. If you know the game you want to work with, you can select it from the list, or you can go ahead and choose Game Picker. In the Game Picker, you can select a game thumbnail to view the game and its main attributes. Once you know which game you want to work with, simply select its thumbnail, click OK, and it's inserted onto the document page. Games are customizable, allowing you to adjust the game's difficulty level as well as other aspects to achieve the desired results. In the Properties pane, select the Settings tab, as you see we have here. Here you will see that some of the properties are common to all games while others are specific to each game individually. For this example, we'll work with some of the basic settings for the Master Plumber game so you can see how it's done. Then you can explore further options on your own. Now, for example, for the behavior, you have several options. We can opt to make the game replayable. We can recycle questions. We can go ahead and use a level preset if we want. We can also use the levels designer to make custom levels. So let's go ahead and see how this works. For this particular example, we'll go ahead and design a custom level for the game here for level 1. And then once we've done that, we can go ahead and click OK. The next thing we can do is determine, whether we want to cycle levels, we want to set a time limit, and so on. We can also choose settings for the appearance. We can show the score at the end of the game. We can show test results. These come from the test results page. We can also determine for this particular game what type of machine type. Maybe we want to swap this over to ice cream. We can also choose other settings, and you can just go through each of these on your own. Maybe we'll want to change the color of the fluid to something else, as well as the liquid speed. Once you've made all of these modifications in the settings, the next thing you want to work with is the different layers. Now there's a series of tabs over here for each of the layers. Each game consists of several layers that at runtime will be shown and hidden in different game states. Use the layer tabs at the top here to view and edit each layer as needed. These tabs are only visible in the design modes. Let's go ahead and go through each of these and take a little bit closer look. For example, we click on the common layer. The common layer includes elements common to all game states, such as the game's main control buttons. So let's scroll down and take a look at these. These would be the start button, your audio controls, as well as the help button. Now let's go ahead and let's hide the insert ribbon. And then we'll click on Intro. The intro layer can contain the welcome text along with additional objectives and notes. So right here we have some basic text. We can actually go in here and modify it as needed. Let's go ahead and change this to say, "Welcome to the ice cream game." And then I can go ahead, if I want to, over here, maybe change some of the things over here. I could change the size, but I'm going to actually just go ahead and change it to be centered and so on. Now, This is it at a minimum. I can also add some notes and objectives as needed to this layer. The next layer, let's go ahead and click on it, is the game layer. The game layer is the core layer and it contains elements relevant to actual gameplay, such as the score and the timer. The next layer is the pop-up layer. The pop-up layer contains the background and the frame, which is this right here, for the questions. At runtime, this layer will be visible when a question is displayed. The next layers would be your win layer and your lose layer. These layers are shown at the end of the game depending on the game results. Like the other layers, these layers can contain additional text and media to provide feedback to the player. And then we have the results layer. The results layer appears on top of the win-lose layer at the end of the game to provide test results. It can contain a test feedback element to provide the results of the test. This layer is optional and will only appear according to the show results property of the game. So if you are going to go ahead and show results, then this layer will show at the end of the game. And then finally, we have the help layer. The help layer contains game instructions and is displayed when the player presses the help button. Once you have the different layers and elements edited as needed, you can go through each of these here. And you can double check what you have there. It's time to go to each question page in the various section folders within the test folder to tweak the layout design. Let's select some question pages and take a closer look at what we need to do. So we're going to go over here. Let's expand our test folder. We have only one section folder for this particular test folder, so we'll expand it. And then this particular one, we have 3 questions. So we're going to go ahead and double click and swap over to those pages one at a time. And as you can see, the page is shown with the game in the background here for the question, and then the pop-up layers on top, and then the question itself sits on top. So this will show you what the viewer will see when a question is displayed to them. You can go into each of your question document pages and tweak each of your elements as needed. We've already preset our question pages to speed up this example, but this is what you would do, and then we can go to the next one, take a look at it. We'll save this page. And again, in the background you see the game, and then this is your pop-up layer, which will display, and then this is your particular question, so we can go ahead and tweak this a little bit as needed, and so on. And then I'm going to go over to the last one here. And you would go through again each of your question pages to make sure they display properly. And this one looks just fine. Finally, let's go ahead and save all of our modifications. And then we're going to go back to our test folder. And then let's go ahead and see how the viewer or the player would interact with this in actual runtime. So let's go ahead and preview this in a browser. We'll launch our browser. Here is our game right here. This is the intro layer. We'll click start. And here's the game right here, so we can start playing it right now. For this particular one, every time we come to a wrench, that will mean that we're going to have to answer a question in order to continue on. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And then we can keep going. And then this is our last question. And then once we've completed the puzzle, we can go ahead and get our ice cream. And then you'll notice it's showing the win layer here because we've successfully completed the test. Let's go ahead and close the browser and return to Composica. This video showed how to add a game to a test folder and modify its layers and various game elements as needed to offer the learner a visually dynamic and intellectually fun and engaging interactive experience.